Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back. This episode is going to be all about Pluto and Aquarius, this collective, long astrological transit that we're experiencing and that we're in still at the beginnings of right now. And I'm excited to talk about how that affects us collectively, personally, and what that means in this episode. So I am Jamie Ehrenberg with Idlewild Retreats, and this is my journey of following my intuition and becoming my truest self. Pluto and Aquarius. If you are newer to astrology, you may or may not have heard about this transit. So Pluto in the astrological system is our most outer planet that we experience its impacts of. It is a small planet that has really big transformational impact for the collective, but also us personally. Pluto is known as the planet of death and rebirth, transformation, really being able to dig into our underworld, our subconscious, our unconscious patterns, and being able to alchemize those. So for some people, that's not the most comfortable thing. For me, I kind of love it. Transformation has been something I have done again and again and again through my life. As I become my truer and truer self, things have to die in order for those new parts to really become alive. And it doesn't have to be a terrible thing. Sometimes it's a little bit hard, but it doesn't have to be. And when we work with planets or we work with transformation intentionally, there's really just so much that we can do. So this transit is occurring all the way through 2044. This is we still have 18 more years of this transit, where it started. We've got the first ingress where the planet came into Aquarius in March of 2023, which was massively important to me personally, and I didn't even know at the time. I'm going to actually create a whole series, and this will be the beginning of that, around my personal experience with Pluto in Aquarius. When we look at these transits, especially the longer ones, they are always going to be showing up in our own birth chart somehow, and it might be a really obvious thing, and it might not be so obvious. So it takes Pluto about 20 years to get through an entire zodiac sign. So there's 30 degrees in each zodiac sign, so it takes a very long time for it to just move a degree through a sign. That will kind of give you a little bit of an idea of like how long it might take for you to personally get this experience. When we look at our personal birth charts, it usually is exact that we're looking for when it's outer planets and their orbs are in our birth chart. If that doesn't make sense to you, I'll give you an example. And I have my sun at 1 degree Aquarius as well as my Venus. And so right now, Pluto is at 1 degree Aquarius. So transiting Pluto is on top of my natal Sun and Venus, which means that there's a lot of transformation, death and rebirth, just like excavation happening of my own underworld in terms of my identity, how I exist in the world, my values, my love. And this is actually my 6th house too, so it's my daily routines, my health, my service, my daily work in the world. You're going to hear all about that in an upcoming episode, but really just trying to give you an idea of what that looks like and what I'm naming about the exactness in the chart. So Aquarius is if we think about a transformation happening in the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius is the collective. It truly is all of us. It is very visionary. It is a little bit cool. It is an air sign and it's fixed, so it's also pretty focused in terms of what it not necessarily being that flexible, but also able to carry the course forward. It's considered a rebel, and yet it is conformity. And so I'm an Aquarius sun, which you just heard. And what I think about is that an example is I will follow the rules until I think something's really not right with a rule or it's stupid. And I will say, no, I'm not following that anymore. But I'm okay with the rules generally. And that's kind of what Aquarius is. It's like, it is disruption in order to change the collective rules or consciousness, and Aquarius is also consciousness. So we are going through this massive shift in consciousness on this planet. I've talked about it a little bit of like New Earth and 5D and this evolution that is starting, and we really have till 2044 for this bigger shift to happen. So it's going to take a little bit of time. I believe that this will end up leading to a lot more spiritual awakening too. All of these shifts kind of happening in tandem. It's exciting, at least for me. It is not necessarily comfortable when we think about death. Again, we are letting go of what we've known, and that's not always easy. It isn't, it's our human self, our tender little self isn't wanting change usually, and it'll often fight it, because it's disrupting what we've known. And I'm going to give you an example of that, this in my life, as well as some practices that I would highly recommend us all leaning into. So honestly, March 2023, Pluto moved into Aquarius for the first time in 240 years. It's a very long time, so none of us have been alive to experience this. And almost immediately, so 0 degrees Aquarius, I got the call. I received I'm going to say directive. It was a request, but it's a directive from the divine to, actually, I don't even know who it was at that point. I can discern that really well now, but at that time I couldn't exactly discern it. But at that time, it was like, I need you to change. I need you to step into service for others in community for their spiritual development. And I was like, what? I've got this career that I love. What's wrong with this? This is a really good career. It's doing really good work in the world. I don't understand. And you can see it's not always comfortable, and there was some rejection that came with it. And slowly, for 2 different reasons. One, I am not a quick adopter of almost anything. And it's not that I won't do it, but it just takes a little bit of time. It really needs me to be able to work with that idea in my body. It's very reflective of my commitment to embodiment. It's a slow process for me, and that's okay. We don't all have to be fiery or cardinal, in terms of our astrology signs or those kind of energies of being able to implement something immediately or just go running off with it. I actually have a lot of fire in my chart, and I have a lot of air in my chart, but I still need time for this to settle in my body. And I feel like that is one of the things that is really important for this time. I'll be recording some more grounding and embodiment episodes as well, so that you can do this along with me and see what I'm doing, because it is so important when so many things are changing. I'm recording this in September of 2025, and every planet within the last 10 months has changed signs, and that's really unheard of. We haven't seen that in 3,000 years. And so being able to support our bodies and our minds, our nervous systems, to be able to hold all this change, hold all this newness, this disruption, this uneven ground is really, really important. So nervous system support, I believe, is so important right now, being able to have the tools to be able to support and connect to our nervous system. When we're dysregulated in our nervous system, it doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It's usually trying to tell us something, so we don't necessarily want to override that. Like for me, for example, this new career path, like literally a new career path, being asked to step into that, to switch paths in my career and my soul's journey, I really was like, I don't like, there were so many objections, and a lot of it is safety, security, can I do this? All sorts of things that come up, when we change, when things are new, when we're shifting past our current, conditioning or programming or what society has told us is safe and good. And again, back to the whole purpose of this channel, it's like the real checking in with ourselves at any time of, is this true for me? How do I feel about this? What is my intuition telling me? And again, not our chatty minds where they're gonna try to be the safest and keep us where we've been, because that is how our minds work. It's like we've got these really deep grooves, or neural pathways in our minds that are easy, and it's easier for that part of us or our identity to not have to change because it knows what to expect. It's comfortable. It doesn't necessarily think things need to be different. And so being able to connect with our intuition is so important in discerning what's actually right for us. But our nervous systems do need support no matter what. And basic things like being able to go outside and be in nature, breathing, especially breaths that are longer on the exhale and shorter on the inhale, and really allowing the breath to come out of your mouth, so like a 4-8 breath, so that supports your parasympathetic nervous system. There's so many things that we can do. You can certainly do some lookups, and I will be recording some embodiment grounding practices actually next week when we're at Idlewild. I'll be doing it there. But yeah, there's a lot that we can do to support us during this change, because it's not just personal change, it's collective change. The whole planet is shifting right now, and it's not going to look the same in 2044. I had a reading in December of 2024, and because of this Pluto and Aquarius transit for me and how much it hits in my chart, I was told, you're not going to look the same come the middle of next year. And I don't. I mean, I might externally look the same, although that's not even totally true. I've lost a bunch of weight because all this stress and resistance has kind of come down and out of my body, and this inflammation, whole nother conversation. But internally I'm so different. That's took so much work. It took me doing a lot of dancing and walking and being and just being able to breathe, being able to work through whatever objections were coming up. So there's a lot that goes into all of that, and if I can ever support you in this, you can just follow the links below and you'll see some of the ways that I can do that. But being able to be in our bodies and feel the things and work through them is really important during this time. The two other things I wanted to talk about that what we might be feeling, so aside from this massive shift, so this breaking down of systems and ourselves to reform into something else, because we're definitely seeing that on the collective level. There's so many things, political, economic, education, even scientific things. We're now aware that the Big Bang Theory literally couldn't have worked the way it does based on new information that we have that's just been found pretty recently. But our universe couldn't have expanded like this. It was almost like when it started, it and many other universes were almost in place right away. So there's things that are really shaking our beliefs to our core are happening, and our comfort level. One of the other things that is really a big deal for right now is this spiritual psychic gift development. I've been talking a lot about intuition as this whole channel is focused on it. Being able to really connect to that is going to be such a really important entry point to our spiritual lives, as well as any psychic gifts that we have or that we want to turn on. I believe that we have all of these, just like we all have intuition and have all these capacities. Intuition and intuitive gifts are very closely linked. And as I've been chatting about in these other episodes so far, they need practice and they need time to be able to expand and grow and create a foundation for us to live with. But our spirituality, when we talk about consciousness and Aquarius being the sign of consciousness, collective consciousness, I think that spirituality is really, really quickly and closely linked there. I feel like we're moving into a time where science and spirituality are no longer going to be an either or. Not that they are for everybody, but for a lot of people it is. It's science or God. But how do they move together and weave together to be able to support each other and us in this bigger picture of awe and wonder and love? I feel like the potential for all of this and all of us is just so big right now, and I'm so excited for you to be here and experiencing or being willing to delve into this, because it does take every single one of us shifting and being able to be open to shift in order to get to where I believe that we're meant to go. So lastly, this Aquarius piece is rooting us, I believe, back in community. So Aquarius is the collective, and when we think about transformation of the collective, we have gotten much more individualized and more so, especially with the rapid development of technology, where we're able to connect with, but not be in real time or real life with people all over the world. And this move to community being important, it doesn't necessarily have to be always in person. It can be virtual. Kelly Surtees is an astrologer that I really like, and she talks about it's just moving away from the asynchronous way of being in community. So it can be phone conversations, it doesn't all have to be in person. It can be Zoom groups, but it's being together in real time as well as in person. And so this return to community is something that I believe is part of this Aquarius and Pluto transit. So if you have any insights or additions of what you feel like, or things that really hit you, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. It could be that you've been practicing your intuitive gifts or your intuition and something pinged you, and I'd love to hear how it pinged you and what pinged you, because this is, again, just all this practice of like, oh, that really resonated. This is how, and this is why. I would love to hear from you. And please be sure to hit subscribe and like and share this video if you feel like it would be supportive for anyone else. Again, this is the beginning of an entire series around Pluto and Aquarius, specifically around me and my birth chart and all of the transformation and all of these different ways that I've felt. And how I've worked with that transformation, because I've experienced a lot of it in my life, pretty big shifts along the way that were just part of my soul's path. And Pluto, as Virginia Rosenberg likes to say, is the planet of inevitability. It's going to happen. Either we can work with it or we can try to work against it, but it's still going to happen, and it's a lot easier to work with it. I'm sending you so much love and appreciation for tuning in again, and I just wish you that you have a great day and a beautiful Pluto in Aquarius transit.